It is 2070, and the Furcon War is happening. It had been years since Chunky Reduceness was the all-father of the country of Jackson. The battle rages as Jeff Jackson's son, Cheesy Jackson, leads Jackson against Lord Borron X and his demonic four allies. But on the other side of Earth-uon, the remains of the Amon with its leader, Reon, who was Lord Borron's grandson, twin. Reon was a man with great intelligence and did not favor Lord Borron X and his own plans. Lord Reon had other plans, and in 2071 he finally had found a new power source of his own making, a Unite, which was rich in the same things that the outer layers of the universe consist of. Reon needed a test subject, and so he decided to use Deuceness and Chunky as a test. They almost died intact with it. But then they gained a new form of power, giving them white glowing eyes. They went to try to end the Furcon War themselves. Lord Reon, at seeing this, injected 80 times more night into himself, turning him into a powerful monster, but still maintained his human form. That's it.
I will destroy Earth-uon with my newfound power, and the Amon will rule the universe,
Said Lord Reon as this was his plan. He enlarged his own size to that of the sun, and went forward to end Earth-uon. With his laser beam from his hand, he destroyed Reon. But just before he did that, Chunky and Deuceness got away, and trod back in time to a day before the day Earth-uon was destroyed.
You, you see, Chunky, we had traced back in time to a day before the day that Earth-uon was destroyed. We must get to the Amon base soon. But before sunrise, tomorrow to save Earth-uon from its future destruction at the hands of Earth-uon, Reon.
Said Deuceness as he went forward, but it turns out the future Reon had foreseen them trod back, and he sent one of the other Amon members back in time to kill them. Who are you? Are you the ones I was sent to kill? Asked the Amon member as he grunted and came forward.
No, I am the big fat man, and not a Deuceness, former second all-father at Jackson,
said Deuces as he pushed his belly out to make himself fat again for the time being, and so for this time, he had access to fat entry once again.
Chunky, until we defeat Reon, you will refer to me as my former self, the big fat man,
said Deuces slash big fat man. The big fat man went forward, back fatter than ever and ready to save the day. They took out the Amon member with ease, since fat entry boosts their power levels, and so they teleported to the Amon's base. At that moment, that Lord Reon was using the future versions of Chunky and Inducence, the Big Fat Man, as tough as a test subject, and as before in the main timeline, they got new power, and Lord Reon took 80 times more into himself, making him what he was in the main timeline. But this time, as he was preparing to end Earth-uon, that Chunky and the Big Fat Man were there, and they became the same in power as Reon, but the battle was still a bloody one.
I see that this is the moment you went back in time to prevent me from destroying Earth-uon,
said Lord Reon. He looked to see the future Chunky and the Big Fat Man trot back in time as he fights present day Chunky and the Big Fat Man. Chunky comes with a lightning sword and prepares to combat Reon, who takes the sun and prepares to throw it at them.
Ready?
But just before he can, Jeff Jackson shows up at the last moment and counterattacks Reon's attack.
Okay. I know my father used this mode to save Earth-uon, right? Earth-uon 41 years ago, and now I will use it to stop you,
said Jeff Jackson. He let his life injury join together and he turns on Fallion mode, the mode that can result in a user's death. Jeff Jackson had a little more powerful version of his father's last power in life. Jeff Jackson grows like the center of the universe as he goes forward. Reon almost kills Chunky and the Big Fat Man, but Chunky, the Big Fat Man, and Jeff Jackson combine their most powerful moves that their modes allowed them, and this 3-in-1 combined power attack kills Reon. But the craft they were on falls down toward Earth-uon.
We must get off of this while we can,
said the big fat man. Chunky, who was right there on the ground with his knees down, says,
The sun is still coming toward Earth-uon, and this craft will just help it in its impact. One of us must stay behind to stop it, and it will be me.
Why you? Please don't do this, Chunky,
said the big fat man as he teared up in sadness.
Jeff, give me your power so I can do this,
said Chunky as he looked forward. Jeff turned off Valiant mode, only to transfer it into Chunky.
I never wanted to say I was the hero, but now I know that it is what I was meant for. I will stand firm in the face of death itself. I will not turn back,
said Chunky as he turned on Valiant mode and charged forward and toward the sun. Jeff and the big fat man came back into Earth-uon's surface. Chunky put his hand on the sun in the craft. There was a flash of light, and then it was over. Chunky had done it. He has saved Earth-uon from its destruction from the sun. But Chunky was nowhere to be found.
Please, Chunky, come back,
said the big fat man, who was Adeusinus once again. Jeff, who had survived Valiant mode, went toward Adeusinus, and they both looked up toward the sky.
He was my master and a great all-father, and now he has done something that is great, as my father stopping Amon,
said Jeff Jackson as he shed a tear.
Is he really gone?
said Adeusinus. Jeff paused for a moment and then said,
Yes, it seems he might be dead, but he might be alive.
No one knew where Chunky was or if he was even alive. But truthfully, his final fate was unknown to them.
Good afternoon, everyone. The following bus route will now be.
We cut to an island with sand and dust, and Chunky swordways lands into the dust in two pieces.